Hi, it's Alan Begg again from McMaths. Welcome to this week's lesson. This week's lesson is going to be another of the Odd One Out quizzes. 20 questions, 4 options, general knowledge. If you're ready, let's begin. Question 1. Can you spot the odd one out and why from these 4 options? I'll give all of the questions with each set of options and then we'll review the answers so you can play along as we go through them. Good luck. Question 1. A. 2, B. 4, C. 22 and D. 7. What's the odd one out here and why? Next set of questions. Question 2. Can you spot the odd one out and why? A. 0, B. -1, C. -2 and D. -3. Question 3. Can you spot the odd one out and why from these 4 choices? A. 8, B. 12, C. 16 and D. 17. Next question. Question 4. Here's the 4 choices again. A. 24, B. 30, C. 36, D. 43. 3 of these numbers have something in common, 1 of them does not. Question 5. A. Frogs, B. Cats, C. Cow, D. Dogs. What's the odd one out and why is it the odd one out? Question 6. Have a go at this one. A. 8/16, B. 2/4, C. 10/12 and D. 9/18. What's the odd one out and why is it the odd one out? Feel free to pause if you need a little bit more time. For now, we're moving on. Question 7. A. 5/25, B. 20/100, C. 2/10 and D. 6/12. What's the odd one out from these 4 options? Question 8. A. This shape. B. This shape. C. This shape. And D. This shape. What's the odd one out of these 4 shapes? Question 9. A. This triangle. B. This triangle. C. This triangle. And D. This triangle. Which one is the odd one out of these 4 triangles, based on the information which is provided in the diagrams? We're halfway through. Question 10. A. Far. B. Look. C. Near. And D. Beside. What's the odd one out and why? Question 11. A. 8 times 2 equals 16. B. 8 times 5 equals 40. C. 8 times 8 equals 64. And D. 8 times 9 equals 71. What's the odd one out of these 4 options and why? Next question, question 12. A. A half plus a half equals 1. 3/5 plus 1/5 equals 1. C. 2/3 plus 1/3 equals 1. Or D. 3/4 plus 1/4 equals 1. What's the odd one out and why? Let's have question 13 now. A. 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 6 equals 12. B. 2 plus 2 times 5 equals 12. One plus 2 in brackets times 4 equals 12. And D. 1 plus 2 times 4 equals 12. What's the odd one out and why? This is a question regarding BODMAS. Question 14, another BODMAS question. 1 plus 2 times 3 in brackets equals 7. B. 1 plus 2 plus 3 equals 6. C. 20 times 3 in brackets divided by 2 plus 3 in brackets equals 12. And option D. 1 plus 3 in brackets times 2 plus 4 in brackets equals 25. What's the odd one out and why is it the odd one out? Again, work it through using BODMAS. Question 15. Biology. B. History. C. Chemistry. and D, physics. What's the odd one out from these 4 choices and why? Which subject doesn't belong in this grouping? Question 16. A, diesel power. Battery, electric power. Tidal, sea waves power. And D, wind power. What's the odd one out from these 4 power sources and why? Question 17. 0700 equals 7 o'clock AM. 1900 equals 7 o'clock PM. 0000 equals midday, and D 0000 equals midnight. What's the odd one out and why? Question 18. 10:30 AM equals 10:30. 25 to 11 AM equals 10:35. 25 to 11 PM equals 22:25. And D, 22:30 equals 10:30 PM. What's the odd one out and why? Question 19, penultimate question. A, B, C, D. Out of these 4 groupings of lines, which is the odd one out and why? 3 of these groupings of lines have something in common. 1 grouping of lines does not. Then the last question, question 20. A, B, C, D. Again, one of these groupings is not common with the other 3. Which one is it and why? That's all the questions. Feel free to find if you want to look at any of them again. Feel free to pause and check your answers. If you're ready, let's have a look at the answers. Now, of course, there may be more than one correct answer. I'm just going to give you the correct answer that I have. Question 1. 2, 4, 22 and 7. A fairly straightforward one to get us going. 7 is an odd number. 2, 4 and 22 are even numbers. Easy one to start with. They will get more difficult. Question 2. 0, -1, -2 and -3. The odd one out here was A, 0, because it's not a negative number. -1, -2, -3 are all negative numbers. 0 is neither positive nor negative. Question 3. 8, 12, 16 and 17. 10 seconds on this one. The answer was 17, because 17 is not a multiple of 4. 8, 12 and 16 are all multiples of 4. Question 4. 24, 30, 36 and 43. What was the odd one out from this grouping of 4 and why? It's D, 43, because the other 3 are divisible by 6. 43 is not divisible by 6 to give a whole number. Question 5. Frogs, cats, cow and dogs. What was the odd one out here and why? It's cow, because cow is singular. Frogs, cats and dogs are plural words. They mean more than one. Question 6. 8 sixteenths, 2 quarters, 10 twelfths and 9 eighteenths. So some fractions here. Which fraction is the odd one out compared with the other 3? It's 10 twelfths, because 8 sixteenths, 2 quarters and 9 eighteenths can all be simplified to 1/2, a half. Question 7. 5 25ths, 20 100ths, 2 tenths and 6 twelfths. What's the odd one out and why? It's 6 twelfths, because the other 3 can be simplified to 1/5, a fifth. 5 25ths, 20 100ths and 2 tenths can all be simplified to 1/5, 1/5. Question 8. This shape, this shape, this shape and this shape. What was the odd one out from these 4 shapes and why? It's A, it's this shape. Do you know why? That's right. The other 3, B, C and D, are quadrilaterals. Do you know what the name is for shape A? That's right, it's a pentagon. 5-sided, a pentagon. 5-sided, 2-dimensional shape is a pentagon. Question 8. This triangle, this triangle, this triangle and this triangle. What's the odd one out here from these 4 triangles, only based on the information given in the diagrams, nothing else. It's D, and the reason it's D is because it's a right-angled triangle demonstrated by this chevroned square here in the 90-degree angle triangle corner. All the others, A, B and C, are acute triangles, which means that they've got 3 angles less than 90 degrees. A right angle triangle has 1 angle at 90 degrees and 2 angles at less than 90 degrees. The sum of all 3 angles for all 4 triangles, of course, being 180 degrees. Question 10. Far, look, near and beside. What's the odd one out from these 4 words? It's look, because look is a verb. The other 3 are adjectives. In particular, they are prepositions. Question 11. 8 times 2 equals 16. 8 times 5 equals 40. 8 times 8 equals 64. And 8 times 9 equals 71. What's the odd one out from these 4 calculations, and why? The answer is D, 8 times 9, because 8 times 9 does not equal 71. 8 times 9, of course, equals 72. Question 12. A half plus a half equals 1. 3/5 plus 1/5 equals 1. 2/3 plus 1/3 equals 1. And finally, 3/4 plus 1/4 equals 1. From these 4 sums of fractions, which is the odd one out and why? It's B, because 3/5 plus 1/5 does not equal 1. 3/5 plus 1/5 equals 4/5. All the other ones are correct sums of fractions. A, C and D do add up to 1. Next 2 questions are to do with BODMAS. A reminder, BODMAS, brackets, order, divide and multiply, add and subtract. So you have to do things in brackets first, then squares and roots, then divide and multiply are on an equal level, then add and subtract are on an equal level also. Here's the 4 options for question 13 based on BODMAS. 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 6 equals 12. 2 plus 2 times 5 equals 12. 1 plus 2 in brackets times 4 equals 12. And 1 plus 2 times 4 equals 12. What's the odd one out? The odd one out here is D, because 1 plus 2 times 4 does not equal 12. Because of BODMAS, you've got to do the multiplication first. So 2 times 4 equals 8, add 1 equals 9. the correct answer for 1 plus 2 times 4 is not 12, it's 9. Question 14, again BODMAS. 1 plus 2 times 3 in brackets equals 7. 1 plus 2 plus 3 equals 6. 20 times 3 in brackets divided by 2 plus 3 in brackets equals 12. And D, 1 plus 3 in brackets times 2 plus 4 in brackets equals 25. The answer is D, because 1 plus 3 in brackets times 2 plus 4 in brackets does not equal 25. 1 plus 3 in brackets is 4. 2 plus 4 in brackets is 6. 4 times 6 is 24, not 25. Question 15. Biology, history, chemistry and physics. What was the odd one out from these 4 subjects and why? The odd one out here is history, because biology, chemistry and physics are science subjects, whereas history is an arts subject. Question 16. Diesel power, battery, electric power, tidal, sea waves power and wind power. What's the odd one out from these 4 power sources and why? The answer was diesel power, because all the other 3 are renewable energies, whereas diesel is a fossil fuel. Question 17. 0700 equals 7 o'clock. 1900 equals 7 o'clock PM. 0000 equals midday. 0000 equals midnight. So from these 4 representations of the 24-hour clock, 1 is wrong, the other 3 are correct. Did you spot the one which was incorrect? That's correct, it is 0000. That is not midday, it is of course midnight. Question 18. 10:30 AM equals 10:30. 25 to 11 AM equals 10:35. 25 to 11 PM equals 22:25, and 22:30 equals 10:30 PM. So again, another question about telling the time using 24-hour clock notation. The one that's incorrect here is 25 to 11 PM being 22:25. That's incorrect. 25 to 11 PM would be 22:35. 25 past 11 PM would be 22:25. The penultimate question, question 19, is a question based on parallel lines. Parallel lines are 2 or more lines that are always the same distance apart and never intersect. Remember, lines are infinitely long. question 19. This group of lines, this group of lines, this group of lines, and this group of lines. What was the odd one out and why? The answer is C, because the two lines in C are not parallel. The groupings of lines in A, B and D are parallel. They're always the same distance apart and they will never intersect. C and the two lines for C will intersect. Remember, lines are infinite. The last question, question 20, is regarding perpendicular lines. Perpendicular lines are two lines that meet or intersect each other at right angles, 90 degrees. Remember again, lines are infinite. Here's question 20, the last one. You just need this one to get 100%, don't you? These two lines, these two lines, these two lines, and these two lines. Which pair of lines are not perpendicular? That's right, it's D. Remember, C is a pair of perpendicular lines because the lines are infinite. So the top line here on the left at diagram C will intersect the right hand side line on option C at 90 degrees in a similar way to option A. How did you get on with this week's 20 questions? I'm sure you got them all okay. If you found some value in this quiz, Odd One Out 20 questions, please like it, share and repost, and think about subscribing to this channel. Until the next time, this is Alan Begg from McMaths, signing off. See ya.